what the problem is, because from the outside looking in, you assume it's the pitching because of Soroka having been out all year long, and Freed only had three starts, which he was terrible in all three before he went on the injured list. So from the outside looking in, you say, well, it's been their pitching. But then I was watching the game last week and they compared last year's pitching, the whole season, as compared to this year's pitching the first month of the season. And last year, their team ERA was 5.51, which is basically 5.5 runs a game, which is terrible. And that was the highest ever for a team that still reached their league championship series. And then this year, their team ERA is 4.97, which really, in all honesty, an ERA of almost 5 is still pathetic, but it's better than last year. And you would assume that it's going to get better when Freed comes back and he's finally healthy. And Soroka does, which I know I've been saying all year long, that I thought Soroka was going to be out until June. And then the Braves finally came out last week and said that he is out until at least June. I kind of had that feeling, even though they weren't saying it, but they finally said it. But if their ERA is already lower than it was last year, you would think that when Soroka comes back and Freed comes back, that it's going to get even lower if Freed comes back and he's healthy. And Soroka was as dominant as he was last year before he got hurt. So if it's not the pitching, then I don't know what the reason is. But there's no way and no reason, no rhyme or reason, and it makes no sense for a team that was one win away from the World Series last year to bring back virtually the same team, the same roster, and stink this bad. And now they've lost Travis d'Arnaud for 60 days. And I know Acuna was hurt and missed a couple of games. Pache went on the DL. Ender Inciarte is still on the DL. But out of all the players to lose, d'Arnaud is the one that they could have least afforded to lose, because Alex Jackson just cannot hit. He's hitting like, I think, 0.35. He's just Huescar, his personal catcher, but he can't hit. They called up William Contreras, who did get a hit on Sunday. So he's already got the same amount of hits Alex Jackson has this year. So you'll probably see William Contreras get more and more playing time just because of the fact Alex Jackson cannot hit. So with d'Arnaud being on the 60-day DL, that means he's out until at least July. Unfortunately, William Contreras is not as good of a hitter as Wilson Contreras, who is the catcher for the Cubs. But I thought last week was going to be a good week when the Braves beat the Cubs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I even came on here and made a comment about me wearing the Braves hat because how good they were playing. And then they came right back and lost Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So winning 3 in a row does you no good when you're going to turn right around and lose the next 4. The Braves' only saving grace right now is the fact that the whole division is flat out terrible. If you remember, if you followed baseball for a long period of time, you'll know back in 2006, the St. Louis Cardinals won the World Series with the record of 83-78. Now, they only played 161 games because they had one game that was rained out, but they already had the division won, so the game didn't matter. So they may have gone 83-79, and they may have gone 84-78, but still, they only finished 83-78, which is pathetic. And in most years, 83 wins does not get you in the playoffs. But since the National League Central was so bad that year, the Cardinals still made the playoffs, and they went on to win the World Series. So the Braves' only saving grace this year is that the National League East is about as bad as the National League Central was in 2006 when the Cardinals went 83-78. Now, I'm not anywhere close to saying the Braves are going to win the World Series. The way they're playing right now, they ain't going to win diddly squat. But I'm just saying, if the Cardinals can win the division and make the playoffs with 83 wins, then this year the National League East winner is probably going to win 85 to 86 games, but still win the division. That's the only saving grace the Braves have, because this team is not winning 90 games. They're not winning 95 games. They may not win 85 games, but if they can, I think that will win the division. The Nationals, who the Braves actually play tonight, lead the division right now. They're exactly 500 at 12-12. And then the Phillies are 14-15, and the Mets are 11-12. So both those teams are one game below 500, half a game out in the division. And the Braves are 12-16, 4 games below 500, but they're only 2 games out in the division. So if they could by some chance sweep the Nationals, they'll be in first place when they get out of the bed on Friday morning and prepare to play the Phillies again this weekend. They got a 3-game set with the Nationals, and then a 3-game set with the Phillies on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They have said that Max Fried is coming back this week, but they have not said exactly when. But they have not announced a starting pitcher for tonight. So it's possible that Max Fried may be on the mound tonight. They also recalled Scott Kazmar, which you remember he was on the team about 3 weeks ago for about a week. I think he only had 1 or 2 at bats. They have recalled him, and they also sent Nate Jones back down to the minor leagues because he is struggling out of the bullpen, just like the rest of the bullpen is struggling. But Nate Jones is the one that they chose to send down, and Chris Martin is also close to returning. And if he's as good as he was last year or close to it, that'll help the Braves bullpen out tremendously. Coming into the season, it looked like the Braves bullpen was going to be dominant. But so far this year, the Braves bullpen has been atrocious. Will Smith has gotten better as of late, but when the year started, he was bad. But outside of Will Smith, the rest of the Braves bullpen has been utter garbage. You know, when your best reliever is Luke Jackson, that you're struggling to get anything whatsoever out of your relievers. Let's just hope the Braves turn this ship around, because if not, more than likely right around the All-Star break, you're going to start hearing rumblings about it's time to get rid of Brian Snitker. And I'm not saying he should go. I'm not saying he shouldn't go. I'll let the front office decide that. I'm just saying, when you have the talent the Braves have and you're playing the way they have, if you follow sports at all, you know that after a while that means that your manager or your coach, depending on what sport it is going to start taking all the blame, because a team with this kind of talent should not play the way the Braves have played. They finally got back to 500 when they beat the Cubs last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But like I said, it didn't do any good because they turned right around and lost 4 straight. But I'm also going to say that when Soroka comes back, if Max Fried comes back and he's healthy, and Soroka's back and he's healthy, that Drew Smyly's days as a starter with the Braves are dwindling down, because when Soroka comes back and Fried comes back, we know Yanoa has been way too good. He's not going anywhere. And Ian Anderson's not going anywhere. And Charlie Morton hasn't pitched good, but he's been better than Drew Smyly. But they took a chance on Drew Smyly, just like they took one last year on Cole Hamels. They give them these veterans 1-year contracts for a minimum low amount of money. So if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you don't lose much. And, of course, Cole Hamels only pitched 1 time last year. I think he went 3 1/3 innings and gave up 3 runs, and that was it. This year, Drew Smyly's had 5 starts, and he's been absolutely pitiful in all 5 of them. He's still better than Bryce Wilson and Kyle Wright, which is not saying much. But you look at the Braves' supposed young arms, and Touki Toussaint and Bryce Wilson and Kyle Wright are 3 pitchers the Braves should have traded years ago when everybody was wanting them, because it looked like they were going to be 3 great pitchers. But the Braves decided to keep them, invest in them, and all 3 of them are terrible. And Touki Toussaint, I ain't even heard his name mentioned this year in the minor league, so I'm guessing he's not even getting a shot with the Braves, which is good. But Bryce Wilson and Kyle Wright have both pitched this year, and just like every other year they pitched, they've been terrible. And hopefully their days with the Braves on the major league system are coming to a close because they are awful. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and predict that if Soroka comes back healthy and Fried comes back healthy, that Drew Smyly's days with the Braves as a starter are dwindling down. I've never been a big fan of Drew Smyly, but if you can get a veteran guy for the low amount of money the Braves got him for, it's worth a shot. Just like Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton started with the Braves years ago, and he was dreadful. He was terrible. So the Braves traded him. He went to the Phillies. He was good. He went to the Astros, and he was good. He went to the Rays, and he was good. And he comes back to the Braves, and he's garbage. But hopefully he's got a long enough track record for me to think that he may still turn it around. But you look at Drew Smyly's career numbers, he ain't never been any good. But the Braves took a shot on him, and I'm glad they did because of the fact Bryce Wilson's no good, and Kyle Wright's no good, and Fried's hurt, and Soroka's hurt. So they've actually needed Drew Smyly, but I would almost rather go with Josh Tomlin out of the bullpen as the fifth starter than I would Drew Smyly. But let's hope the Braves turn it around tonight. Like I said, they're only 2 games out in the division. So if they can sweep the Nationals, they'll wake up Friday morning and start the weekend in first place. So my Braves report this week is not good because I'm disgusted with the Braves because I just don't see how a team can have this kind of talent and play this poorly. Hopefully they'll turn it around. If you're a Braves fan or know someone who is, please feel free to tell them to chime in on the comment section. Let me know what you think. I know a good friend of mine named Lee, him and I talked last week about the Braves for an extended period of time, and I think he's about as disgusted with them as I am, and it's even worse. I mean, years passed toward the end of Bobby Cox's tenure and a couple of years when Freddie Gonzalez was there. You know, the Braves just didn't have the talent. So you knew it was going to be a long year, but you went into the season already knowing, yeah, we're going to stink because you didn't have the rotation, you didn't have the bullpen, you didn't have the lineup, and it looked like you were pretty much just starting over. So in those situations, you expect to be bad. So when you are bad, it's not a big deal. You knew it. But the Braves have gotten a little better each year. And I thought for sure after being 1 win away from the World Series last year and bringing back the same team this year, I was looking forward to the baseball season. And now the season started and the Braves are terrible. But thank God baseball is a long season, so they still got a long way to go. But if they keep hovering around 500, it ain't going to do them any good because as bad as that division is, even if they win the division at 84-78, if they keep giving up 5-6 runs a game, they're going to get put out of the playoffs in the first round. But before we sign off here for today, 2 giant windmills are on a hilltop. One turns to the other and says, "What kind of music do you like?" And the other one says, "I'm a huge metal fan." And that is your dad joke for the day. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.